Okay, hi guys. So in this lecture, we'll be starting off with D and L configuration. How to determine the D or L configuration for certain compounds. Okay, so let me get started. DL and L configuration. Okay, so just like in R and S configuration, it is absolute configuration which is used in carbohydrates and amino acids. Okay, I'm talking about D and L configuration. Okay, so just like RS configuration, it is an absolute confirmation configuration which is used in carbohydrates and amino acids. Okay, so the definition of carbohydrates is simple. Carbohydrates are polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone. Okay, so carbohydrates are simply put polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone. Okay, so please remember that in the back of the Fischer projection, the back carbon would be aldehyde and the front carbon would be alcohol group. Okay, we'll take some example and for your better understanding. So suppose we have this. So as you can see, the back carbon should be always be aldehyde and the front carbon would be alcohol. Okay, and OH and H. Okay, so this is for the name purpose I am giving it. It is D glyceraldehyde. Okay, so we will arrive at how do we named it as D, but for now I'm just giving you the example. So one or two more examples. So we have something like this. Okay, let me draw in a separate line. So if we change the even number of bonds, we would have, let's have CHO here, OH here, and CH2 OH here. So I'll again change the bonds because I have changed only one bond till now. So it would be again OH here, H, CHO and CH2OH. Okay, so in this you can easily see that means as we have done in the RNS configuration, we will be doing something similar of the sort in D and L configuration as well. Okay, so now let us see how do we actually calculate D and L configuration. Okay, so if we have something like this, and CHO. Okay, so how will we calculate the D or L for this case? So for this one, You can easily see the priority rule would be something like this, in which this would be the first, this would be the second, I think this would be the second, and this would be the third. So it is clockwise, so if it's clockwise then it's D, anti-clockwise then it's L. Just like in this case, first priority here, second priority here, so it is anti-clockwise. Okay, so now let's have a look at this compound. Okay, so if we look at it, this compound, so here you can see that the first priority should be this, second would be this, first would be this, second would be this. Why this would be the second? Because in this you can find that O is the highest priority group, and the next priority highest priority would be H, but in this case next priority highest would be O. So this would be the second and this would be the third. So accordingly you can make the D or L. We'll be covering up rules of how to actually we do D and L configuration for the compounds, but for now just understand that if we make the mirror image of it, it would be an enantiomer, because obviously it is having chiral centers, and it is not having POS, COS or any other sort of thing. Okay, but for knowing, you can obviously draw the mirror image of it, but if you want to know the configuration of this, whether this is a D or L, so you know this would be anti-clockwise, but hydrogen atom is on the horizontal line, hence it should be L, but it is now D. Okay, because hydrogen is on the horizontal line. So one more thing, that for calculating the D or L configuration, you should always select the carbon atom which is away from the CHO group, which is as distant from the CHO group, or it is as close to the alcohol group. Okay, so if you now draw for this, okay, so now we have first as this, second as this, and third as this, so it should be D, but now H is on the horizontal line, so it would be L. Okay, so now I hope you are able to understand how to calculate the D and L configuration. Okay, let us take another example. Here we have this CH2OH, so we will be taking the D or L configuration from this carbon atom or from this carbon atom, from this carbon atom. Why? Because D and L carbon is selected which is away from CHO group. So away from CHO group is this carbon, hence configuration would be selected or would be decided based on this. Let me first draw the mirror image also. So it is an enantiomer, non-superimposable mirror image. Okay, so you know this is the first priority, this is the second priority, this is the third priority, so this should be anti-clockwise or anti-clockwise, but due to the presence of H it would be clockwise, and clockwise is D. Similarly for this it should be clockwise, but hydrogen atom is on the horizontal line, hence it should be anti-clockwise, which is L. Okay, so for information, this is D glucose, the above example D1, and this is L glucose, and this D and L can be thought of being inspired by dextrorotatory and levorotatory. So this actually rotates the PPL or polarized light in um, clockwise direction, and this rotates in LEO direction or in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so let us take this example. Just have to calculate D and L configuration for this. And have to make some more. Okay, so I'm changing the odd pair here because CH2OH has to be in the terminal carbon. CH2OH here, OH here, and if I change one more odd, it should be even. H, H, OH and CHO. On the same carbon, if I am changing one more, it would be this one. Okay, so now D and L configuration are determined on a carbon atom which is away from CHO group. So on this carbon atom is away from CHO group. So on this carbon atom, this is the first priority, this is the second priority, this is the third priority. So it should be clockwise, but H is on the horizontal line, so it should be anti-clockwise or levorotatory. Okay, and hence we change the even pair here because we changed 2 times odd pairs. So hence this would also be levorotatory. Okay, so one more thing. Before that, just take one more example. EFGH, CHO, HOH, and again we have CH2OH here, and H here, and OH here. So what you will do is change the odd pair and mark it as CHOH. I'm just changing these two groups and OH. So what would be the configuration? So for calculating DL and the carbon atom selected should be away from CHO group. So for this, first, second, third, this should be anti-clockwise, but H is on horizontal carbon CH bond, so it should be in clockwise, so it should be D, but we changed odd pair of bonds, so this should be L. Okay, so now comes the end of the examples. I'll write some definitions and then we'll be cutting off with this lecture. Okay, so some notes are, if there is no carbohydrate, then we won't be calculating any D or L configuration. We'll just stick with R and S configuration. So no carbohydrate, no DL. Okay, second would be, so just as an analysis that D and L are decided with respect to the hydroxy group of chiral center. So if hydroxy group lies on the right hand side, it is D form, and if it lies on left hand side, it is L form, provided we are calculating the D and L configuration on the carbon atom which is away from the CHO group. Okay, so just analysis that D and L decided with respect to hydroxy group, of chiral center. Okay, third is if hydroxy group lies on right hand side, it is D form, and if hydroxy group lies on left hand side, it is L form. Okay, so in case more than one chiral center are there, D and L will be decided with respect to the chiral center which is away from the functional group. Okay, By functional group I mean aldehyde or ketone. So more than one chiral center, D and L will be decided with respect to that chiral center which is away from functional group. And by functional group here I mean aldehyde or ketone. Okay, and the last point would be D-glucose and L-glucose are enantiomers, as we saw in the examples where I made the mirror image of D-glucose and L-glucose, and they are uh, means obviously mirror images of each other, and they are enantiomers. Okay, just writing it for documentation sake. So D-glucose and L-glucose are enantiomers and are mirror images of each other. Okay, so with this we end our lecture. So from the next lecture we'll be seeing epimers, amino acids, optical parity of enantiomers, etc. So till then, good luck and goodbye.